Everybody, welcome back to Video Game SO. Today we're going to continue this series on Analog in Your Pocket. Are you just happy to see me? And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Smash TV beta core by Pramod and the CoinOpCollection. Last week we took a look at Narc, definitely a very well-known game as far as Midway is concerned, but definitely not my favorite or anybody else's favorite as far as the actual gameplay on offer is concerned. But if we go over to something like Smash TV, I absolutely love this game. I always have. It's about as close as we could get to an actual The Running Man game with Arnold Schwarzenegger on an arcade board back in the day. For you to find involved, let me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell. It definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But Smash TV is one of those games I saw in arcades back in the day, played it, fell in love with it, and then got it on Sega Genesis when it came out. It is the simplest game in execution, but it is mindlessly addicting, and if you bring a second player, it gets even more fun. It is a simple arena shooter where you have 4 different directions where you can shoot, and you basically have to mow down absolutely everybody in the arenas before you can move on and take on a boss fight. That's exactly what you want out of an arcade game experience. Simple to pick up and play, very hard to master, and this game definitely has both of those going on, as well as a super fun gory splatter effect every time you blow up or otherwise shoot an opponent there. You'll see there I stepped on a landmine and it basically just absolutely decimated me, blowing my eyeballs into the air. So basically Smash TV is a total vibe filled with gore, and that's something I love out of my arcade games. And you can definitely play around with the controls as well. This is the type of game that's going to take you a few minutes to understand how to control everything if you've never played it before. It's been some years, but once you actually get the hang of it, it'll become a lot easier for you to play. But be very well aware, Smash TV is not an easy game. You're definitely going to have to pump a lot of quarters into this one to get better at it. But as far as the core on offer here is concerned as a beta, I would say it feels like 85 to 90% completely buttoned up. I didn't really see any graphical glitching the entire time I played the game. The audio sounds a little bit scratchy and not quite the same as an arcade board, but again, that's what happens with beta cores. Pretty much you get a preview of what is coming. But as far as actually playing the game is concerned, it seems to be operating exactly like I would expect an original arcade PCB to operate or MAME emulation. And it's not like there aren't different ways to play this game, there definitely are out there, but being able to take this on the go on Analogue Pocket is going to be a lot of fun, as these bite-sized pick-up-and-play arcade experiences are definitely where handheld gaming shines in my opinion. This is, for the time being, an Analogue Pocket exclusive. Maybe it'll end up on some other system in the future. Really don't know more than you guys do on that front though, but I know you're going to ask. But Smash TV is just one of those titles. If you played it, you absolutely love it. If you never played it, you definitely have to check it out. And as far as the performance speed-wise is concerned here, there's so many different sprites on screen at once. You can get arenas with 15, 20, 30 different opponents at once to fight, and all of the speed is definitely adhering to what it should on an original arcade board. And there's so many different power-ups, so many different prizes and weapons you can obtain. You really do get hooked into this game, and you try to get that quote-unquote perfect run, because every time you get through an arena, it's going to give you a map and options to go different directions, so you really can kind of make this your own gameplay experience. Sometimes you'll have more than one option. Sometimes here, when you get to a boss, Mutoid Man, you're just going to have to go in one direction. But it's so much fun to get these Midway games coming over, and I'm sure pretty much everyone is just waiting for Mortal Kombat. That seems to be the #1 game everyone is stoked about, but for me, Smash TV was at the top of my list of games I wanted to play, because while I enjoy a game of Mortal Kombat now and again, it's never been my favorite fighting game franchise. But Smash TV is one of those games I'll play it at least once a year. If I have a game night, I'll load it up, have a friend over, and we'll play 20-30 minutes of it, get some good Smash in, and then move on, because the original Smash was not made by Nintendo, it was made by Midway. And I love Mutoid Man here as well. As you actually shoot him more chunks of his body come off in this like anthropomorphic tank man combination. You even get this metal rib cage just exposed. It's so fun, it's so unique, it's so cartoony and gory at the same time. This is classic Midway through and through, the Midway you remember from back in the day, long before they ended up going out of business and selling off basically all of their properties. But again, I just like getting these new beta cores and being able to talk about them. But here comes your soundtrack sample. Listen to the music quality, listen to the sound effects. Like I said, they're not quite there, but I'll be right back. sounds pretty close to the actual soundtrack and sound effects, but there's a little bit of scratchiness and maybe some clipping in the channels here and there. But again, as a beta, that is to be expected. It's not a criticism on the core. This is a work in progress test. And do be aware that if you want to play this, just like Hotego's cores, you do need to be a member of the CoinOpCollection's Patreon to be able to play it. But it seems like maybe 2 to 3, 4 months from now, from what I've heard, these cores will end up going public after that beta period. So if you want to play it today, you know how to do it. If you want to wait, that's totally acceptable as well. And you'll see here that we do get a map coming up as to what direction you want to go. And as far as all of the graphics drawing to the screen, again, I can't see any issues in any of the sprites, background layers, heads-up display, or otherwise. If you notice anything, leave me a comment down below. But as far as the visuals are concerned, as far as the gameplay is concerned, it just seems to be Smash TV. The only thing is that audio seems to be a little bit hot in spots and maybe a little bit scratchy as well. But Midway boards were never known to have the best audio quality around either. A lot of their boards, even into the mid to late 90s, have that same audio quality. My Invasion the Abductors board, the Midway Zeus, has some really scratchy audio coming out no matter what you do, because that's how it was supposed to sound back in the day. So some of that scratchiness, some of that muffled nature is just inherent in the sound hardware that Midway liked to use back in the day. So do be aware of that. But as more enemies come in, again, this game just has everything I want out of an arcade game. It is super challenging but super simple at the same time. The worst thing you can do in this game, though, is die in the wrong spot and end up losing all your powered up weapons, because when you have this single blaster and you have opponents coming from all 4 directions, it becomes insanely hard. But when you have an entire filled arena and you're playing well and you absolutely decimate everything in front of you, you basically feel invincible. And it is a bummer that this never actually got the official Running Man license. I feel like that's what they were going for here, and if you never watched the Running Man the movie, 10 out of 10 recommend. Classic Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of my favorite cheesy movies of all time. But that's basically what Smash TV is, the Running Man in game form. And now I'm just letting you see some footage without cuts so you can see what the long-term playability of this is. And you will have adjustments as far as difficulty are concerned, so you can dial the difficulty up, you can ease it up a little bit, just like you would on a real arcade board. And getting something like the shield here is just going to absolutely mow opponents down. And therein lies some of the strategy of something like Smash TV. If you see a good power-up on the board and there's not that many opponents in front of you, you may actually want to wait to pick it up until you get that screen filled up with enemies. Then you grab that power-up and you end up just wrecking everybody. And these little bouncy balls here, never quite sure what they were supposed to be, but they kill me basically every time. But it's so much fun, just like I said, to get new cores coming over to Analogue Pocket, and there's a ton of fun to be had on Midway. And Smash TV definitely is my favorite of all of this, but I'm sure I'll ask you to leave a comment down below, but what game are you waiting for the most? I still feel like Mortal Kombat's going to be taking the lead on that one. But get one more quick sound sample so you can get a better sense of that audio quality in a different level, and I'll be right back. You may have heard that one of the sound effects seemed to get quote-unquote stuck there, and you will hear that in the intro as well if you play this. Some of the sound samples will repeat maybe 4 or 5 times, but again, I'm sure that's stuff that's all going to be buttoned up as this core goes through beta processes, gets updated, and then ends up as a release candidate. And that's just kind of how the sausage gets made, for lack of a better term. You have to go through these revisions to get things working, and how the sausage gets made is definitely appropriate for this game, because you're going to be grinding some real carnage as you move around. And don't forget, mentioning carnage, Total Carnage is probably going to be one of the next betas coming up. We'll have to wait and see. If you want to play this today, run whatever updater you have. It'll bring down all of the files. You just need to make sure that you are that Patreon member, or else you're not going to get the license key like you see on Hotego's stuff. But Smash TV, definitely my favorite game on this hardware, so as far as I'm concerned, we have the best game on these Midway boards already here on Pocket, but I'm sure most of you are still waiting for Mortal Kombat. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Happy to chat with you guys. I'll be back with more Pocket stuff next Sunday, and I'll have videos throughout the week, but go play this game 10 out of 10. Bye-bye.